thing they said is, I never had any support.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's massive. Support is really, really important. Like, yeah, I've got all the tools now, all the strategies to be able to support myself. However, you know what? There's times where I'm stuck in my shit and I'm using all the tools and strategies to support myself, but I can't get out of it. You know what I do? I make an appointment and I go and see my kinesiologist. I do mine. I have a lady that lives in Wollongong. And so we do sessions online through Zoom. And, you know, I do sessions in person and also using the Zoom. And they're just as powerful. It's amazing. I've had some amazing healings just from, like, you know, just because at the end of the day, we're all energy. And so she will muscle test herself. She'll surrogate. And so for me, the healing is exactly the same as if I was in the room with her. So, yeah, you've got to get that support, because you know what? Otherwise, you just feel like you're going round and round and round in circles and you're so stuck. And you just need someone just to kind of just hold that space for you, hold your hand, you know what I mean? And to realize that you don't have to do this on your own. And then once you get to the point, and this is the whole thing of people coming to see me, they get to that point where they go, you know what, Debbie? I can do it now. I feel like I've got all the tools and strategies. Some people might only have one session. Some people might have 3. I've got another lady that I've been working with for a couple of months now. But when she first came to see me, she was suicidal. Those thoughts in her head were not nice. Do you know what I mean? She didn't want to be here. Whereas now the light, she can see the light. The stuff's still coming up, but now she knows that she has the tools to move through it. As scary as it is, do you know what I mean? It's like she knows, I can do this. And it is so beautiful. And I feel so grateful to be that person to witness their own growth, because there's nothing more empowering when you witness your own growth. Something happens and you think, wow, wow. If that had been a year ago, there's no way I'd have reacted like that. Do you know what I mean? I chose to react differently. I chose not to go down the old path of that negative thought. I stopped. I was still stressed, but I didn't react the same. So to witness your own growth is really empowering, but also to witness someone else's in their own healing. Oh, that's why I love, and I'm so passionate about what I do. Yeah.
And I can imagine for your clients, it would be a huge step in their own healing to actually realize that they do need help and support and reach out to you and realize that they're worth it and that this is what they need to find for themselves.
And that's why I kind of felt, by sharing my own story, you know, as scary as it was, but you know what? I never had one negative comment, which really blew my mind, because I was like, and maybe it was because I wasn't a werewolf. I decided that I would, instead of writing, you know, thank you for not leaving any negative comments, you know, bring on the negativity, I actually wrote, thank you for only leaving loving and supportive comments. You know what? I've never had one person, everyone said this work is really, really needed.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that now we have all these movements like Me Too movement and all of these things for domestic violence and stuff that are moving away from the patriarchal system. But with abortion, there's so much silence, and it's still so taboo, and there's still so much shame around it, and it feels so stuck at the moment. So yeah, for sure, this work that you're doing right now is definitely needed to shift that.
Yeah, because I guess for me, I was kind of thinking, you know, maybe some people will have an abortion and they'll be okay, and maybe they will. They really, really know that was the right choice. But as I said to you, you know, it might not be straight away. It could be years later. So even if I feel that, even if someone is thinking, yeah, I made the right decision, even just coming in and having a session and just checking in, do you know what I mean? Just checking in, and even just knowing that you know that you're okay is healing in itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I had one lady that came and had a session with me, and it only took one. She was obviously very ready to let it go. And, you know, the whole time of trying to be pregnant, it took a very long time for her to fall pregnant with her first child. And she said, you know, that whole guilt played on her mind, and, you know, I'm going to be punished, was kind of running its own story. I mean, eventually she did fall pregnant, but the feeling was kind of still there. And so we came and had a session, and she described it as if she had this glass box on her body, kind of below, kind of in her abdomen area. And when we were doing the session, she said she had this kind of visualization where this glass box had all that shit in it, all that negativity, all that, like, you're going to be punished, the shame, the guilt. And she said, you know what? I saw it open and it all just came flooding out. And she came back 2 weeks later, we did another session, and wow, she's so moved on from it now. When we connect to that experience, she knows it was the right choice for her. There is none of the negative, you know, I don't like to say negative emotions. I guess it's those yucky ones, isn't it? Because all emotions are welcomed, but it's those ones that, those uncomfortable ones that we don't really want to feel. And she didn't feel them anymore, but it was good just to come back in and have that checkup just to make sure. Because, you know, and sometimes there's so many different layers to things as well. You know, like I said before, the fact that I got triggered by that word, I forgot what it was now. What were we talking about before? I don't know. My mind's gone completely blank now. Yeah, I can't remember what the word was, but yeah, when we were talking about sometimes you get triggered by a word again and it just brings up a lot of more stuff. But that's also okay. Do you know what I mean? It's just showing you there's another portal and there is a bit more work. Selfish, that was the word, wasn't it?
Selfish, yes.
So for me, the word selfish, I realised that, it'd be interesting doing this course around the abortion myself, you know. Is there another emotion that I hadn't really thought about that is yet to be processed? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we were all, you know, because at one point I remember thinking, I can't do the work until I've fully healed myself. You know, how can I say to someone, you can heal, you will heal if I haven't healed myself? But I can authentically say now, you will healed. You know, at the end of the day, I'm human, aren't I? And there's always going to be stresses and things that come up. So if I waited until I was perfect, you know what I mean? I would never be doing this work because I'm just evolving and growing all the time.
Yeah.
It's
a process.
Yeah. It is a process, yeah.
So with the current system, what sort of supports would you like to see in that as a positive change for women to be, you know, incorporated, integrated into how we currently support women who are going through abortion?
Yeah, good question. I guess it's somehow about lifting the shame, isn't it? But bringing that into a positive. Well, that's what this course is all about. It's taking away, seeing it as an experience for growth. Do you know what I mean? Because I guess it's that whole thing of, like, you know, I know when you're in it, it's not so easy to be in that space of things happen for you, not to you. I guess I definitely believe that there needs to be more support, as in, like, afterwards, like checking in. Yeah, I guess more. I feel like there needs to be more counselling, whether it's that it's part of the program, that they're not waiting for you to contact them to say, I'm not in a good place. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe part of the program is that you go through the whether it's medical or taking the pills, and part of the program is that you will then have, 5 sessions afterwards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just to check in and see how you are. Even if you go, no, I'm okay. I think it is critical to have the support straight away. So whether it's with someone like myself that's more holistic, or through another type of counsellor. But I think at the moment how it works is that you go and there is a number for you to call if you feel like you need the help. Because how many people will actually ask for help? Because I guess it's one of those things that, because it is quite early on and you can't see that someone's pregnant, they might not have even told anyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They might not have told anybody. And so it's like you've got this little secret that you're kind of keeping in. So maybe they wouldn't go for the session, you know, maybe they're not going to ask for that help. But if it was part of the process that you had to go and have these sessions, you know, like if you say, for example, you were an alcoholic, you know, and you'd been in rehab, for example, and you come out, there's a program afterwards, isn't it, to support you? So I feel that there needs to be more support afterwards.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Whether you think or not that you're actually okay with your decision, because you don't know how you're going to feel afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, if you're walking down the street or someone all of a sudden ends up having a conversation about, you know, someone else is considering an abortion and how wrong it is. How's that going to, that could possibly trigger you, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine if you already have, you know, beliefs around your self-worth.
Yes.
Well,
it's just feeding into that, isn't it?
Or after counselling would be, you know, obviously a massive step. But if it was something that was
offered,
not necessarily compulsory, but something that was offered, that could make a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. I guess because of my own impact, I feel like it's compulsory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess it's because I don't want anyone to have to go through the journey that I did. You know what I mean? Reinforcing. And then, you know, it's like you have this lens and filter that I am, you know, this bad person. So it's like you attract people or situations in your life to reinforce that I'm not good enough or I'm unlovable. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you didn't have that and you weren't carrying that around, you're still going to feel a bit of grief. But you're not going to be carrying around all those kind of, you know, that guilt, which I feel like is a massive one, that judgment. Yeah.
Is there anything else you feel like we haven't covered?
No, I feel like we have.
Is there any energetic sides to this that we've missed? In terms of the cutting off, the separation sort of.
Well, I kind of feel that when I do the sessions with the kinesiology, I'm looking at the whole. I'm looking at the mind, the body, and the spirit. So it all encompasses in that when you have the healing. It's not like, you know, if you went to a doctor or something and said, you know, I'm feeling this, we would be looking at you on I would be looking at on a more of a holistic approach. Because I know from my own experience, you know, for example, with the thyroid, you know, going to speak to an endocrinologist about, you know, the goiter, and I'm saying to him, well, I know emotionally there's a lot of stuff going on for me right now, and, you know, I'm wanting to speak my truth. He just laughed at me. You know, it was kind of like, no, that's not possible. And I said, what about diet, for example? You know, maybe, you know, eating certain foods might help, gluten. And he was like, no. He was very black and white. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't looking holistically.
Yeah,
and I guess as well, it's that, it's also that whole thing of like hormonally, you know, supporting yourself with herbs and stuff like that and supplements, because I guess your body has been pregnant and then like literally a couple of minutes later, you're not pregnant.
Yeah.
So the impact of that as well. So looking more on a holistic approach as well, not just looking at your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being. So looking at all of it, encompassing all of that, because, yes, I guess I'm not saying all doctors, some doctors are very aware that emotions can impact your physical health.
Yeah.
But from my experience, like with my endocrinologist, I think we were just so far other ends of the spectrum, and I was like, that's okay. I thought, you know, he's on his journey, I'm on mine, but he just completely disregarded how I would maybe feel. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a really good point, though, about the hormones. I hadn't considered that before. But you know, your body's in one state and then suddenly it's in another. It needs might need some support to transition between.
You know, especially around like the sacral area and the healing, you know, I think you're sending away with like maybe a pad or something, aren't you? Maybe you might have a bit of bleeding, a bit of spotting, and, you know, even that can bring up emotions, because you're looking down and you're seeing, the blood, you know, again, we just don't know how, because it's an experience we've never had. No one really knows how they're going to feel afterwards. So, that's why I feel that, again, I'll say it again, that it's important to look at the healing straight away. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. So you can, transform the pain that you've had into power, and your fear into courage, and your strength into growth. That's one of my little things, my little taglines that I have, because Yeah. Yeah.